It's Rachelsey at the movies!
Hey, well, you didn't say yay. Like, what am I supposed to do there?
It's Rachelsey at the movies, yay!
We saw The Way Back, starring Ben Affleck. This movie is about a guy dealing with a drinking addiction, and in the trailer, he gets roped into coaching a high school basketball team, and it's about his life and his journey.
Yeah.
Outright, like, I didn't want to see this movie because I thought at first this was a type of, like, you know, overcoming something kind of movie, kind of like a Disney movie. Wasn't like Randy Quaid or Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid wasn't he in a movie about baseball where he was anyway? And I think it was a Disney movie.
Okay.
Or like the movie I Can Only Imagine.
He was in that movie, Dennis Quaid.
Was he?
Interesting.
Oh, that's right. He was the dad. I thought it was gonna be like that, and I was like, nope. And then later we saw on Rotten Tomatoes that it had like, I was like, hey, how does this have kind of a high score? And then I was like, hey, it's also rated R, so it's not Disney.
I wanted to see it, but I wasn't like in a rush to go see it at the theater. I was interested in it because of its depiction of addiction, and since I come from addiction, I was interested in seeing it in a movie.
Yeah. So we ended up going to see it.
Surprise!
And Kelsey, go wait or skip.
Well, so I would say wait to see this movie, but I'm not gonna say that because here's what I'm gonna say: if you like basketball, you're not gonna get the NCAA tournament this year, so you might as well go watch this movie because like it's a pretty good movie, and I thought that it delivered on what it promises to be. It isn't super deep or like I didn't think it was anything where you're like, oh, this is a fantastic instant classic. It's not. It's just one of those like movies about this subject and a coach. It frames it in this world of addiction, and it fails at some of the things I think it tries to do. But ultimately, like I enjoyed watching it. I thought the performance was strong, and I really like it. So you want to watch basketball during the coronavirus outbreak? There's a lot of basketball, and it's pretty good.
I'm gonna also say wait to see this movie.
I said go though because of.
Oh, you never said if you
Well, I'm saying you should go. Wait, no, then you're going into a room. You don't want wait. You're going to have to wait. I would say go, but I don't want you to go sit in a movie theater with 30 other carrier monkeys.
We went, but there was only 4 other people there, so we felt okay.
Well, strange times. Definitely wait from now on.
Okay. I'm going to say wait to see this movie because I felt like it was a really good movie, but it wasn't what I expected from the trailer exactly. And it did have like a lot of basketball in it, like a lot more than I expected.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
And so like it's a movie, but then the movie
more about basketball than addiction.
Like surprised me.
Kind of.
It surprised me in different ways. So like I felt like by the time we got to like, okay, this movie's just about over. And then when it was over, I felt a little disappointed. Mm-hmm. But then I realized, oh, this is what the movie was. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be in the trailer. Mm-hmm. So let's get to some spoilers.
Let's get to it. Spoilers, basketball edition.
Why?
You like when I do my own After Effects in pre. Okay. Is it called pre? Hey, here's one I just realized as you were talking.
Yeah.
And I wasn't listening. I was in my own thoughts. Listen, Rachel, this movie is basically... $1 Million Baby. Let me explain. $1 Million Baby was a movie that was really about, what's that called? Where people, because she asked her coach to kill her at the end.
Assisted suicide?
It was really a movie about assisted suicide that operated within
the framework of boxing.
And it was really good in that framework. Like it was like, this is really good information about boxing. This is a similar thing, kind of. This movie is about alcoholism, post-traumatic stress disorder, and the types of things that happen when people are dealing with grief or loss. But it operated within this framework of basketball of coaching basketball, and it was really good in that respect.
Yeah. So here's how the movie. I said it wasn't what I expected from the trailers. From the trailers, I expected a movie about overcoming something that's difficult in your life. It was going to be uplifting. It was going to, like, I expected like a traditional movie. This was not a traditional movie in that...
It didn't have a traditional plot line. Either.
No, like it was more like the movie makers said, hey, first of all, it's also not based on a true story.
Which would, if it had been, it would make sense from a plot device-wise why it was kind of disjointed and why things happen the way they are. You're like, oh, that's the way it happened, because that's how things happen in real life.
Yeah.
But this filmmaker apparently chose to make a movie about how things happen in real life.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, that's what it was. It was just a window in, looking at what if somebody, not a real person, but this character we make up, let's look at somebody struggling with alcoholism and trauma, and let's just look at it. The filmmaker didn't make any comments about it. It didn't, he didn't have, like, anything to say. He was just like, here it is.
He also didn't have any, it wasn't a film, sometimes you watch a film like this, and it really gets into detail about practical things that people within that situation might encounter. Mm-hmm. Like how, the movie's called The Way Back, right? Yeah,
but there was not a 12-step, detailed instructions of how to get back.
Or anything. Any, it was, and really like to keep up, like you said, at one point in the movie he goes to rehab, but it never really says that he's in rehab. Like, you just have to kind of...
No, at the end of the movie, he's just like, his sister says, well, I'm going to help you. And then all of a sudden, he's talking to somebody, and I think he's in a therapist's office. So I'm like, oh, she got him a therapist. But then later, I'm like, oh, no, he's in inpatient rehab. This isn't like... No. But you had to figure it out from the context of what was going on. The movie just doesn't tell you things.
The director was like, I'm not going to spoon feed you this.
After the movie, like, first I was disappointed because it wasn't what I expected. So I feel like the trailers could have done a better job setting me up for the movie. Granted, I might be the only person that thinks this because, I mean, it got high scores on Rotten Tomatoes, so...
I would, yeah, maybe, but the trailer wants to encourage people to go see it, and so they're going to frame it as
their marketing
movie that you maybe didn't want to see, right?
Yeah, maybe more people want to see
like
that
Mighty
kind
Ducks
of
movie, or... You know what I mean?
I can only imagine. It was more
Hoosiers or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. But the filmmaker, like, when I got to think about it, I was like, this was really fascinating. We just saw a man who was struggling with, like, this deep trauma. Like, you could tell he had father issues. Later, like, almost more than halfway through the movie, we learned that him and his wife, who we know have been separated, but that they lost their son. He died to a childhood illness. And you get to just see this. And he gets, like, this invite back to the school that he went to, Bishop Hayes Catholic High School, to be the coach there. And I don't know, it was just really fascinating. His sister... Like, he sees his family, not all the time, but, like, at Thanksgiving, and then there's a dinner at his house, and we know that his sister's kind of critical. But they didn't, like, go overboard with it. She wasn't villainized. It's just, like, that's something that she does that's not a very healthy behavior. Like, just these little things.
It's also super realistic, so, like, the depiction of him as an alcoholic is something that I know well from my childhood and then also as an adult. Like, I've seen this over and over again. There are little things that the character would do that I had seen in real life that I'd be like, that's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
As an alcoholic. And
very real. Like, the movie starts, like, he's some sort of, I don't want to say construction worker, but in that line, like, that's what he does for his day job. It was just all very real. Like, they were even had interactions between, so movies tend to set you up with dialogue. So if a character is thinking this, he says it because they're telling you everything. But there were times in this movie where, like, he as a coach, like, did something and his assistant coach would just, like, look at him and you would make up a story. Like, he's concerned about, like, his personal life and how it's going to affect, like, these kids that he cares about. But you would have to make it up. He didn't say it. But that's how real life is, right? People don't say everything that's in their head. They have these things that they think about, and they look at somebody they care about, and they think something, but they don't say anything. Now, you might be like, well, Rachel, that's not great for movies, but, like, it's fascinating to me to have a movie that was just straight on, this is a window in, and this is how it is. Even how it unfolded. We didn't get to see, like, the big, like, oh, I thought it was going to be, I coached this team and this was my way back to sobriety. No, like he relapsed at the end of coaching like his team due to an outside like traumatic event, and then he got fired.
That's how it works.
We don't even. He doesn't go back to coach the team. We don't even get to know if the team, they went to the playoffs. Like, we don't get to know if they won in the playoffs.
I like to think that they won the whole thing.
We just, like, and that is real life. Real life is ups and downs, but it's about, like, your personal journey. And sometimes you don't get, like, the head coaching job and then it saves you and then you're happily ever after. Like, this was more about, like, his interpersonal journey and him learning how to deal with his grief and trauma and stuff that he went through, you know? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I was disappointed, but then I was like, gosh, it's really amazing to make a movie like this.
Definitely wait, though, because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean. But hey, thanks for watching, and make sure to like, comment,
subscribe. Okay.